Hi boys and girls, I am Miss Julie and I love spending this time with you on YouTube and I can't wait to work together again. You can find me on Miss Julie with Family Fun Day on Facebook or Miss Julie with Family Fun Day on YouTube. So you can tell it's all dark now. This is Miss Julie at night. So I'm being a little quiet so I don't wake up any of my neighbors, but I thought I would tell some nighttime stories. And the first one is Goodnight Moon. Do you have this book at home? It's by Margaret Wise Brown. I bet you do. I bet you have this story at home. It's one of my favorites. Goodnight Moon. In the great green room, there was a telephone and a red balloon and a picture of a cow jumping over the moon. And there were 3 little bears sitting on chairs and 2 little kittens and a pair of mittens and a little toy house and a young little mouse and a comb and a brush and a bowl full of mush and a quiet old lady who was whispering, "Hush." Good night, room. Good night, moon. Good night, cow jumping over the moon. Good night, bears, and good night, chairs. Good night, kittens, and good night, mittens. Good night, clock, and good night, socks. Good night, little house. Good night, mouse. Good night, comb. And good night, brush. Good night, nobody. Good night, mush. Good night to the little old lady who was whispering, "Hush." Good night, stars. Good night, air. Good night, noises everywhere. And that's the story, Good Night, Moon. Now, our next story is Bears in the Night. And this is by the Bernstein Bears. This was my little boy's first favorite book. Do you have a favorite book? In bed. Out of bed. Out of bed to the window. At the window. Out the window. Out the window, down the tree. Out the window, down the tree, over the hill. Over the hill, under the bridge. Under the bridge, around the lake. Under the bridge, around the lake, between the rocks. Through the woods. Need to apologize, that barking you hear is my puppy. Out the window, down the tree, over the wall, under the bridge, around the lake, between the rocks, through the woods. Up Spook Hill. See the owl. Hoo! Down Spook Hill, through the woods, between the rocks, around the lake, under the bridge, over the wall, up the tree, in the window, back in bed. Whew. Home at last. Our next story is going to be The Very Lonely Firefly. You can't see it, but my yard is full of lightning bugs. We call them lightning bugs. Eric Carle, who wrote this book, calls them fireflies. In your family, do you call them fireflies or lightning bugs? We'll hope Trudie will stop barking. So here we go. It's kind of hard to see the book. I think I'm going to read it like this. Let's see. As the sun set, a little firefly was born, and it stretched its wings and flew off into the darkening sky. It was a lonely firefly, and it flashed its lights, and it searched for other fireflies. The firefly saw a light and flew towards it. But it was not another firefly. It was a light bulb. The firefly saw a light and it flew towards it. But it was not another firefly. It was a candle flickering in the night. The firefly saw a light and it flew towards it. But it was not another firefly. It was a flashlight shining in the night. The firefly saw a light and flew towards it. But it was not another firefly. It was a lantern glowing in the night. The firefly saw several lights and flew towards them. But they were not another firefly. There was a dog, a barking dog, and a cat, and an owl. Their eyes were reflecting in the night. The firefly saw a light and flew towards it, but it was not another firefly. It was a car's headlights flooding the night. The firefly saw many lights and flew towards them, but it was not other fireflies. They were fireworks, sparkling and glittering and shimmering in the night. When all was quiet, the firefly flew through the night, flashing its light. Then the firefly, the very lonely firefly, saw what he had been looking for. That's right. A group of fireflies flashing their lights. Now the firefly wasn't lonely anymore. That's by Eric Carle. One last book. The Spooky Old Tree by the Bernstein Bears. 1, 2, 3 little bears. One with a light, one with a stick, and one with a rope. A spooky old tree. Do they dare go into that spooky old tree? Yes, they dare. 3 little bears. One with a light, one with a stick, and one with the shivers. A twisty old stair. Do they dare go up that twisty old stair? Yes, they dare. 3 little bears. 1, 2, 3. One with a light, one with a stick, and one with the shivers. A giant key, a moving wall. Will the 3 little bears go through that hall? Do they dare go into that spooky old hall? Do they? Yes, they dare. 3 little bears, 1 with the light and 2 with the shivers. Oh, great sleeping bear. Do they dare go over, great sleeping bear? Would you? Do they dare? Well, they came into the tree, they climbed up the stair, they went through the wall and into the hall. So of course they go over, great sleeping bear. Uh-oh, see his eyes open? 3 little bears, without a light, without a stick, without a rope, and all with the shivers. How will they ever get out of there? Up a ladder, through the floor, down a slide, and out the door. 3 little bears running fast. 3 little bears home at last. I want to give some special shout outs, nighttime shout outs. Happy birthday to Trisha. A big hello to Felicia and Georgie, and of course Devin too. And I can't wait to spend more time with you real soon. You are the B-E-S-T, best of all the R-E-S-T, rest, and I'll L-O-V-E, love you all the T-I-M-E time. Bye-bye, boys and girls, from me and Trudie.